load and then we will jump into this. All right, I think we're live on all platforms. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would sit down, do a current events and Q&A for you people. I don't have a current event for the day, but I'll do a Q&A, sit down and talk to people. Yeah, I decided I'm going to do some of these hot takes, the spicy takes. I had a regular follower who he has a pretty big audience. He gets reels sometimes with 100,000 views. And he kind of chimed me and says, dude, some of these takes you're doing in the comments would make really good reels since they're controversial. He goes, they can go viral. So I'm going to start doing some of that. We're going to hit them everywhere. Hit the like early, like you did the tuna. Appreciate it, TD. You know, and I might as well just blow up with all of it. I've decided, here's the thing, guys. I'm going to be entertaining. I'm going to have no filter anymore. You know, the only thing that ever happened with me having a filter, I made less money and I turned into troll bait because they felt like they could use stuff against me. I've realized if I just don't care what anybody says and I just let them do whatever and I ignore all of it and just keep making stuff, let them people call me whatever they want, just keep going. Like literally nobody cares. When I was on fire all the time and just decided to be funny and say whatever the hell I wanted to just come out of my mouth, I was popular and business was great. And I had more fun doing it. So we're just going to turn off the filter, man. I'm going to hit whatever hot topics. I had someone say, are you sure you have the credibility to dig into these complex social topics? Yes, I do. Going to try and get in more greenberry shakes this year for those antioxidant gains. I mean, you don't necessarily need to do them as shakes, but I mean, if you're doing more berries and you're just mixing stuff into there to make a smoothie or whatever, by all means, it's going to help, right? There's no upper threshold to antioxidant intake and health benefits from whole foods. That's what the researchers have noted. There's a reason I eat so many vegetables. You guys saw, I put up a picture of my fridge. Like, dude, I eat so many vegetables. Like, I'm going through probably 2 pounds of vegetables a day, right? Because I eat those peppers by the truckful. I put spinach on everything, right? I eat at least 2 whole avocados every day, right? And then everything else is mostly leaner animal stuff, right? I got a bunch of beef the other day. Like, dude, I'm about to go hard in some roasts and some beef ribs. But they're all lean-ish, you know, so we don't go super hard in the saturated fat. I prefer to get it from avocados. But I mean, I'm mostly protein. Like my diet is at least 50% protein right now. It's crazy. But I mean, notice the difference in that we're seeing me get leaner. I'm getting leaner while I've made some strength gains. I mean, I have occasional days where I'm down a little, but it works. Yeah, but who cares what the carnivore people say, TD? I mean, they're clowns. You know, that happened in the chat yesterday. You know, we were talking about that yesterday's live stream, and several people came through and pointed out, yeah, all of a sudden their gut issues just went away when they stopped drinking. I don't, but they're fun to rag on, right? And I mean, it's like, I get the idea, like it's the carnivore part that's the problem. If they were just very pro lean meat and just preferred lower carbohydrates, like I would be like, hey, that's cool if that's working for you, then by all means carry on. But they have to take it to such a stupid zealot extreme. You know, because let's be realistic here. I mean, if you were going really heavy on steak and vegetables all day, would most people be leaner and fitter and healthier? Probably. Yeah, exactly. Gaslighting it into the ground beef and the butter. Because 80-20, that's too much, man. And this is what people forget with the red meat. Red meat, as long as you reasonably moderate the saturated fat in the context of a cardioprotective diet on the other end, is actually perfectly fine for most people. And that's what they're forgetting. That's what they're forgetting. And by the way, my chest hurts like hell. Dude, I'm getting like pains all through my chest on both sides. Man, those really high hard reps with that bench and the dips and those pullovers have fried my chesticles. 3 sets. The shit hurts. Like I'm literally shooting, not like a heart attack shooting, but down both sides. And I keep feeling it all the way up here, and then this one down to here, but then I'll occasionally get it, further back. So it's coming out of the pecs. My chest is just fried. But we got like 18 on the 225 bench, and we got 18 on dips to failure with a 45. And I hit like 35, 36 reps of that pullover with that 45-pound plate. Dude, my chest is just like, what did you do to us? But that's going to be the key to getting my bench up. Get them tiggo bitties. You know what I'm saying? Get them tiggo bitties. But yeah, I'm gonna just keep stirring stuff up, man. I don't care what people think about it. I can make whatever statements I want, right? And I'm going to be accused of being a racist anyways. So it doesn't matter, because there's stuff that people literally used to say that I was running a neo-Nazi page when there was nothing, literally nothing in my content on my channel that was even remotely related to that ideology. Like, it was just absolutely ludicrous. So it's like, it doesn't matter. People are going to accuse you of it anyways. So if you say anything that's conservative leaning and you're a white male, people are just going to call you a Nazi. So it doesn't matter. You can just say whatever you want, because they're going to do it anyways. It's not like it's a problem. But I'll let people stew on that point of hypocrisy that I put out. And then people, nobody actually says that. Yeah, they do all the time. Are you not on Facebook? Are you not on Instagram? Do you not watch the news? Do you not see highlights? Like, really? I wonder if the same person would say, trans people don't actually believe they're a woman, dude. Just stop, quit lying and sensationalizing it. Really, do you not watch the whole world? You gotta wonder. Yeah, I'm gonna address these little hot takes, because those takes get big hits. Some of those, I've had 10,000, 30,000, 40,000 likes on some of those comments on Facebook. So I'll just turn them into hot takes for shorts and reels. I need to work on figuring out the lighting and what camera to use a little bit. As far as your other training comment, though, any reason for doing the pullovers of the plate rather than a barbell? Yeah. I find the plate way more comfortable. I've noticed when I do the barbell, I'm a little more prone to getting like some pain up through my forearm. It's just what I've noticed. And I've noticed that when I use the plate, I feel like I feel so much more triceps in that position. And I don't tend to get any inflammation through these areas. Now, granted, I was going pretty heavy, but once I started going 95 plus on a barbell, I started getting really severe tendon pain up through my forearms. Now, I was possibly overtraining too at the time. So, and the plate's just really easy to do. It's not hard to do. And I can just rep that out and then increase it over time. But I find the plate really comfortable. And I feel like I feel like it's a more natural movement and position for me personally, if that makes sense. And so therefore I feel that crazy stretch on my triceps, which is part of the reason I'm doing it. Josh says, what's going on, Josh Tipple? How you doing, home skillet, over on the Facebook? Yeah, keep the comments flowing in there, man. That'll boost my numbers, bro. But yeah, we're gonna start hitting all these spicy takes and all this stuff. I'm gonna get political. I'm gonna cover memes. I'm gonna do comedy. I'm gonna be political. Now that stuff is easing up on firearms, eventually, when the budget allows, when I'm ready to start investing in new kit and stuff again, I'll start doing maybe some pew pew stuff again. Now that YouTube has officially re-allowed it with requirements for the check boxes, Facebook's allowing whole gun influencers now. Don Trump said, Jason, you willing to take comments from people? It depends, bro. If you start acting like a troll, I'm just going to get rid of you. It's pretty straightforward, man. Like, do you need to tell me you used to be a troll? That's grounds to ban you, or you could just behave yourself. How much easier would it be to just behave yourself? Unless you're coming to apologize and say, you know what, I realized I was wrong. Okay, well, that's cool. And then just behave yourself. I mean, I've taken someone who was involved before and got all up into those little discords and everything of those people who came and apologized to me, gave me a long apology. I did a video call with him, gave him some life advice. We talked, and, I forgave him. And he said he would never do it again. He felt stupid for it. He felt wrong. He apologized to me. And we had a heart to heart, and I gave him some life advice and everything was cool. Mainly because he was willing to say, hey, dude, I was one of those people. I realized it was stupid of me. He explained why, what was going on in his life. And it made sense. And it seemed like a sincere apology. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean I'm going to do video calls with more people like that. Because some people are just malicious, and I know they're never going to change. I'm not going to accept, because I know their MO. But, okay, bro, I'm 100% reformed. I was out of line for a long time. I was going through a dark time in my life. I made a lot of mistakes. Don't be the guy I've banned 100 times, though, because that guy's done that before, and then I've had to reban him. Because he pretends to be that way and then just starts with the insults again. You know what I mean? So, but hey, man, we go through some dark times, right? I'd rather just relate to you as another gym bro, a real gym bro who can pump barbells, not right. I mean, look at what I'm lifting, dude. And I'm not some spring chicken who be putting up big weights. Don't worry about it then, Donald Trump. Yeah, no, I'm going to discuss political stuff too, man. I don't care. And there's no point in holding back. And I kind of said that with the whole Charlie Kirk thing. I thought it was interesting. Someone said, so your whole world, no, my worldview didn't change. My view on whether we should keep politics to ourselves changed. I realized at that point, this is legitimately a battle of good and evil. And I'm not going to stay silent anymore. Cable crossovers can't be considered sissy, can it? I mean, are you talking about if you just need the finishing chest work as a truly lagging muscle? Or are you talking about just regular training? Probably not. Yep. Just as an accessory. I mean, maybe. But the problem is when people think that these are primary movements. All right, that's what we're going to do. And here's what I would say. If you need to isolate more than two muscles in your whole body, something is wrong with your training. And I'm not talking about professional bodybuilders. I'm talking about everybody else. There is something wrong with your training if you actually feel the need to isolate more than about two muscles. It might be time to rethink what you're doing in terms of the training balance. Because if you're doing enough big movements, there's no way you have 3 or 4 lagging muscles. Just throwing that out there. Like, look, if your side delts are lagging, isolate your side delts. Your biceps are lagging, find a curl that hits them really hard and isolate them. Just saying, not that hard. But the issue is, how much other chest stuff are you doing at that point? But no, Don, so let's just get over and positive. I don't even know it's going to be positive. I'm going to troll. I'm going to be trolling people from now on too. I'm enjoying it. Because it's harder for people to troll me when I'm trolling also. Like, what are they going to do? Out troll a troll? There's a difference between trolling and stalking, and I think that's what people forget. They're not the same thing. Not the same thing at all. on a phone call. Yeah, let's just. So that's, I know who you are then now. No, time for you to get the fuck out of here. Bye. Nope. I told you not to engage me. That will be noted as further for police reports. All right. That you're coming in my live stream still. So, okay. Keep it up, jackass. Sean Thorntonberg, do you have an overall message the Maha movement has focused on less important matters than it could, saw an effort to get fast food chains to frying beef tallow versus seed oils that remove certain dyes? But these are really problems. No, these are not real problems. And now, so here's my problem, Sean. And while I do back the overall administration, I have been extremely underwhelmed with Maha. Like, these are not solutions at all. Like, from a biology perspective, replacing seed oils with beef tallow is objectively worse for health. Like, this is stupidity. You know, where we really need to see the efforts is getting rid of all, say, the sugar for kids, right? Like, if we really want to have these conversations, right? Yeah, frying is always an issue, but they replace something with something objectively worse. Like, the beef tallow is objectively and measurably a worse thing to fry in than the seed oils. But if we truly care about health, we're not sitting around frying our foods in anything, right? I've been fairly critical of RFK's policies on that stuff. And I'm not saying, hey, we shouldn't get rid of some of these dyes, but we have bigger fish to fry, so to speak. You know, that's pretty far down the list of priorities. And I don't like that. Well, it's a start. No, because it's not really going to be effective. You're not going to see a statistical improvement from it anywhere. We need to be looking at a start would be actually hitting something that matters. Let's hit something that will save at least 500 or 1,000 lives in the United States. Like, if it's not going to save at least 1,000 people's lives as a health initiative, it's a waste of time. Now, you ban all refined sugars in our schools. Okay, let's have that conversation. Now, that's massive. There's a start. There's a start. Quit giving our kids all this table sugar and high fructose corn syrup. And quit pretending that real sugar isn't identical to high fructose corn syrup in terms of negatives in the body. It's the same thing. There's no difference. They're both equally bad. You can't block one and replace it with the other. There's no net positive. My point with that, and I've tried to say to people, someone said, well, it's a start if we ban the high fructose syrup. No, it's not. It's like saying we have two types of crack over here that we're smoking, right? We have the evil blue Democrat crack, and then we have the red real crack. So let's just ban all the blue Democrat crack and replace it with real crack. And it's structurally the same in your body when you smoke it. But see, one of them is called real crack, and the other could be called high cocaine crack rocks. And literally running a whole campaign to replace high cocaine crack rocks with real crack. This is the level of stupidity we're at. And that's what I try to tell people. They are identical in the negative effects. You're not going to save a single person by changing one for the other, any more than you would do from changing from one type of crack to another. It's you know, so the problem is the refined sugar. Hey, Stressy, let's remove the word natural. What does natural has no meaning. Natural is a marketing term. Hey, Stressy, I also feel like I have done over 20 hours of videos on this exact topic, explaining the biochemistry and digestion difference between fruit and these free floating fructoses. I have never said or implied, nor does any reasonable person educated in nutrition think fruit's a problem. Does fruit absorb in the upper intestine as free fructose? No. Therefore, why are we having the conversation at all? Like, if you understand why these refined sugars are harmful specifically, you would never even ask on the fruit. You'd be like, oh yeah, that doesn't even make sense, right? But I don't feel like covering, dude. I've done the video so many times now. I've literally made the video like 18 times, and I'm not exaggerating. And the full detailed explanation, I just really can't be. But I just don't want to go through it again. You know what I mean? I've just covered it so many times over and over and over. Like I probably redo the video every 2 months, and it's in my feed. So no, fruit is fine. But don't assume that because something is natural that it's necessarily better. It has to do with the specifics of what fruit is. All right, because there's plenty of deadly stuff in nature. And just because something is refined doesn't automatically make it bad. Right? Yogurt's amazing for your health. It's refined. It's cultured. Perfect example. We put it through a whole chemical process of culturing with bacteria and everything. You know, it's been filtered, but it's still great for you, right? Don't get too far into the appeal to nature fallacy. Got to watch that appeal to nature. So what else we got going, people? So I'm trying to check some of the comments on the reels. Some of the arguments again. Good, about to take off. All right, Mr. Everlast. I was thinking about doing a cycle of Austria, and I wanted your opinion. I'm against SARMs. I think SARMs are garbage. Fruit is one of the best things to eat. I agree. Well supported by the evidence too, both in the indirect controlled clinical trials and in the epidemiology. So let me ask you a question with all these SARMs. Have they ever been FDA approved? No. Why would you, for muscle building purposes, use a drug that the FDA has never approved for human use? You got like 8 steroids to pick from. You know what I'm saying? We have tons of clinical long-term studies. We know exactly what they do. We know what the risks are. We know what the side effects are. So why would you go pick these experimental drugs that the FDA never approved that were based on a hypothesis that didn't pan out? They also cost more. Well, checking in from the road. What's up, EJ? Matt, what's up, Coach? What's going on, Matt? Hello, Coach. Have an awesome New Year. We're trucking along. The New Year is trucking along, doing our thing. Although this is still a little slow in these. I got a bunch of stuff I could be doing. I got to get a bunch more memes. If I have a bunch, I got to finish up that are ready for my rotation. I'm a little slow on them this morning, but we've been hitting those other posts, right? We've been hitting those other posts. So if anyone's wanting to know where the USPA shirts, all four of the black ones are in the dryer. I realized they were all dirty. I literally wore all four of them at different points. Jason, what's the biggest piece of advice you've given in the past you disagree with? I have no idea. I literally have no idea. Is that at least a fair answer? Bro, I don't have a clue. I suddenly got YouTube shorts from Shane Hunt, and then your views about him and Greg appeared in my feed. Oh, man. Yeah. Any notable examples? Stressy, honestly, man, I can't think of any off the top. I'm sure if I really sat down and hammered it out, I could, but I just can't think of any. What type of lifts are you going to focus on this year for make improvements and why? I mean, my big five are going to be high priorities, so it's going to be squat, bench, deadlift, chins, dips, right? But I'm chasing bigger rep work, reps, because that'll still increase my maxes. You know, dude, if you get your back squat up to 405 for 20, you're going to have a monstrous max, even if you haven't maxed in years. Will you not? Any running related goals? Not as of yet. Maybe later once I get the body composition and stuff where I want it. What's up? I'm rolling with Coach. Incredible priority squat, pull up, deadlift, bench, and row incline work for chest. Yeah, I mean, like I like incline a lot. I feel like I get so much out of dips. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if I wasn't doing dips in that spot, I would probably be leaning towards incline. I do like incline a lot. You know, I feel like my bench benefits from the dip so much though. Like I just feel like the carryover is tremendous for me. You know? Yeah. But, you know, I'm a big fan. I like inclines. Yeah, I mean, dumbbells, if you're really looking for high reps, I think dumbbell inclines after work quite well, to be honest. Mhm. Yeah. David says, do you think the government has the ability to get to the bottom of the Somali fraud? Hopefully there will be convictions and lots of deportations. They've made 98 people were charged when I checked yesterday. 98 people have been charged with fraud so far. So hopefully they do. They need to get that clown Walls out of there. He needs to go. Right. They need to get him on all that with his anti-gun rhetoric. I'm petty enough with the gun thing that I look at it as anyone who's pushing an anti-firearm agenda in the U.S. knock them by any means necessary. Get them out. Right? You can get them on fraud charges, get them on pursuit, whatever you have to do. They're the number one enemy of freedom. Think UK should legalize guns? I think the United States should declare war on any country that doesn't legalize the Second Amendment for its citizens. We must impose it on the world. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding on that. That would be kind of ridiculous. No, I don't, because here's why. The U.S. being the most heavily armed improves our military might and ensures that we will be the military superpower and undefeatable. So no, I think the United States needs to be it, and maybe nobody else. Because if we do decide to invade you later, your population's not armed. You know what I mean? It leaves the rest of the world weaker compared to us. Because one, your soldiers don't grow up shooting and no training. Like, you don't get the same quality of marksmanship going into your militaries. They require way, way more training due to the less gun culture. Um, you know, and then on top of that, it also makes you easier to invade. So if we do have to go to war with any other country, whether it's even a current ally, if their citizens aren't armed, it makes them far easier to invade. It makes it 1,000 times easier. So, I mean, I could make the case as a U.S. nationalist that no, we need more gun freedoms here, and then just let everyone else send theirs to us. We'll just take them. What do you think of Squat University? I think he's too dogmatic with a lot of stuff. Mine works totally today for your workout coach. High intensity, love to see it. All right. Nice. Yeah, 9 good works. That's what we get it done. Oh yeah, that's what I did today too, actually. Without going into too many details with squat, yeah, I don't care about the fitness world anymore, man. To be honest, I could be content to never talk about another fitness personality. The rest of this, I want to talk about bigger personalities. Like, I want to branch out into other stuff. It's just so I don't care. I just don't care about the fitness world, influencers. Uh, yeah, Thirst Trap University. And it's not that he's fundamentally wrong. He's just too dogmatic. He has people unloading, fix this and unload all the way to the empty bar. He worries about things that don't matter. Right? It's paralysis by analysis, I think, to too large of a degree. Fitness world is a cesspool. Just get strong on your squats, guys. Stop worrying about stuff like hip shift and just stop. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And if you have something with a compensatory strength issue you need to fix, do some accessory work to fix it. Right? If your low back is a problem, do some reverse hypers. Coach, I don't get the micromanaging that these trainers do. They're filling their clients' heads with too much. Yeah, absolutely. The client doesn't need to do a lot of thinking. They're paying you to do the thinking. My best clients say that. Like, so I have one who comes through here. He's a regular, actually. I'm not actually going to say that he's a client unless he wants to say he's a client, but he's a regular in here. And that's kind of when he hired me. He's like, I'm too paralysis by analysis. And by hiring you to coach me, I don't have to think about my training. I just have to execute. Then I can focus on my business and my other hobbies and just show up and do what you tell me to do. And that is why he hired me. Are you worried that AI might take over fitness coaching? You think there will always be a market for traditional? If AI ever has the ability to truly coach people, no job is safe. No one has a job. That's it. Your jobs are over. Like, that's pretty far down the list of jobs that I think an AI could legitimately do. So once coaching is replaced, we're now at the level of therapists are replaced, your doctors are replaced. I mean, does anyone have jobs at that point other than digging a ditch? Because think about the interpersonal communication and stuff that has to occur for proper coaching. I mean, if AI is that point, AI can now be your therapist, your doctor, everything. So it's. Am I worried? Well, we're in a different world at that point. You should be worried too. Then, if that's the case, what do you do for a living? If you don't dig a ditch or do something physical with your hands, if we're at that point, then AI can do that. You know, would you attribute your more vascular and leaner looks to the higher rep work? I think it's more the diet. I think it's entirely my diet. When I learned squats, I was told to imagine you were sitting on a toilet. Eh, I don't think about sitting on a toilet. AI doesn't have a brain exactly. Truck noises. All right. People are already developing close relationships. They have bots that's coming. What would John Connor think? To the guy posting in Facebook, no, because you've repeatedly shown your malicious intent. You've repeatedly shown your malicious intent, and I want nothing to do with you. I want you to leave me alone, or there will eventually be a problem. I'm trying to be real nice about this. You need to leave me alone, or ever go away. I'm going to ban you now. All right. I'm exactly your age. Do you think any man needs TRT? I was thinking about getting my blood checked, even though I don't have any symptoms of low test. If you don't have any symptoms, I wouldn't spend a lot of time worrying about it. Like your sexual performance great, you have morning wood, depression and anxiety controlled. I wouldn't really worry about it then. So Squat University, I mean, he's okay. Posture use think will be right. Well, it's Tonka. I don't think you understand. It's not online. If it was only online, it wouldn't be a big deal, honestly. Dude, the online is minor. If it was only words on my computer screen, I wouldn't care at all. It wouldn't even be a big deal. Do you have low T symptoms in your 20s before getting older just to help build muscle? I didn't get TRT prescribed until I was over 30. Uh, I've already covered my full medical history. I don't want to rehash the full medical history again. I've done entire videos on my medical history. Having to do with my autoimmune issue, the elevated cortisol, the relationship between that and testosterone, so on and so forth. No, I went on TRT for health purposes. I wasn't even cleared to start lifting weights again when I was prescribed it. So, long story short, no, it wasn't for gains. I was not medically cleared to lift weights at the time I was prescribed TRT. Driving at night in the U.S., do you find many cars have insanely bright headlights? Yeah. I prefer to minimize driving at night anyways because of drunk drivers and stuff out there. Construction noises. Did you do other anabolics for getting on TRT? We've already covered all this. I've already admitted to running a steroid lab, a small lab, and literally making them long before I was ever on TRT. I don't understand why people forgot this history. I think some people think I made that up though, which I didn't. Dude, I literally 5 years before I got on TRT, I literally made a small scale lab and sold it to local bros. So I thought I was very open in that history. It's way past the statute of limitations. Is the guy from Squat University a doctor? I don't think so. How much do you love America on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm gonna go with 9 because I think that we should put God and family above our country. So I'm not going to give it a 10, but I'm going to go with a 9 out of 10. Is that fair? I know it doesn't sound patriotic. I should be saying 11. Can we go with a 9? Is a 9 fair? I think that's reasonable. Right? Like it should go God, family, then country. All right. And I think most patriots will give me a pass on that one of not giving a 10. All right, Matt says, I'm starting a very lean bulk soon, coach, maintenance to 50 calories over, focusing on line exercise, total 3 per workout, 2 main lifts, 1 accessory. It can be that easy, slow, and steady. Yeah. I mean, it works. Progressive overload, make sure you recover, which you probably will doing that. You're good, man. I mean, it's like you can't even measure 50 calories over. He's just basically a very, very, very tiny surplus, which is enough to gain muscle. It's pretty much optimal. Any studies that have looked at it have found that you don't need more than that to even maximize a bulk. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's actually been measured and tracked, and it's actually true. Squat chins, bench incline, dumbbell, deadlift rows, very tiny surplus. I work hard to get very lean right now. I want to stay there, right? Yeah, he just did a cut if I remember. I mean, you don't need to bulk. You don't need to truly bulk. I mean, look, if you're 160 pounds and you want to get up to 170 lean, you're going to have to gain 10 pounds eventually. Makes sense? Coach, is Greek yogurt your primary protein source? No. No, I'd say it's pretty far down the chain. I'm about to cook a bunch of beef, but today it's going to be a mix of chicken and Utopia. I'll have a little Greek yogurt. I threw 1 scoop of protein powder in there, but I mean, dude, I've already had over 300 grams of protein, and it probably was 200 of it from chicken, 100 from my milk, so on. I mean, I eat Greek yogurt, but it's those others take priority. I had 4 eggs also today. You know, just finished cutting. Yes, makes sense. I want to put on weight. We always say 0.5 pounds a month to 1 pound a month max. I agree. Yeah, if you're gaining more than a pound a month, it's body fat, unless it's just gaining water weight. Muscle truck, when is the gym not the most empty? Usually early mornings. I want to open a store. Yeah, you don't need to do that. 50 calories extra a day would mean it takes 70 days to gain 1 pound. But you're not going to be that exact, right? Especially in his industry, maintaining leanness is a consideration, right? You mentioned that before, something to do with your job. It's stressy if you're an advanced lifter. What's wrong with that? So let's say you're a really advanced lifter and you gain 3 pounds a year. Hey Tonka, we don't talk about degenerate perversions in here now. I'm gonna need you to move on with that. First warning. I'm gonna be real cool about it. We don't put up with perverted degeneracy. All right, cool. All right, bro. Looking huge, appreciate it, man. Peace out, concerns food is around. Yeah, yeah. He's not. Well, it's not going to be that exact. But even then, let's say you're reasonably lean and you gain 3 pounds in 1 year. Is this even a problem? If you're not a novice, I mean, do you really think you're gaining 5 pounds of muscle in a year after you've been training more than 3 years? I mean, really, do you really think that's happening? Barring a steroid cycle? If I only gain 5 to 6 pounds for the year but maintain my current leanness or very close to, I'll consider it a win. Well, I mean, it's going to depend on how fat the novice is and what they're trying to do. So you guys are looking for hard, fast answers instead of looking at the totality of your specific situation and doing the math and assessing for where you are. Too many people ask me things and they're looking for a clear cut black and white. Like literally, how heavy can you get away with benching 3 days a week? Exactly how many reps before it indicates an injury risk? Like nobody has that answer for you. No, there might be a novice where you might be disgustingly fat and you need to be losing a pound every week in a deficit. You see what I mean? Do you see the problem with the question? What if you're 30% body fat? Well, you need to be cutting, even if you're a novice. Yeah. But I mean, you're talking about the first year, sure. But realistically, if you're a 140 pound skinny guy, yeah, it might make sense to put 15 pounds on in the first year. You know, but people they overestimate how much muscle they're going to gain. You know what I mean? Like dudes have this crazy idea that they're going to put 30 pounds of muscle on in 1 year or something, and it's just not going to happen. That's delusional. Imagine having one day with 100 cal deficit, 20-day progress down the toilet. Not necessarily, you just would lose some fat. Is it dangerous to use a space heater on a power? I wouldn't know. I don't know. I would need to look it up. Possibly. I don't own a space heater right now, so this is not even a concern for me. I've had to train in sweatpants twice so far this winter outside, open garage. What does that tell you about the temperature where I live? So I don't have a dad, so I use you as a dad. There's a guy with a whole channel on that. There's a guy who made a whole channel for young men who don't have a dad who taught them dad things. No, seriously. There's a whole channel dedicated to that. The guy's had it for like 6 or 7 years or 8 years, to where teaching them basic stuff for men who don't have a father, how to tie a tie. Teaching them this basic stuff that a dad would teach you. I think it's called How to Dad or something like that. You can go do some digging. There's a whole channel on that. You might find it useful. Which I give the guy props. That's a pretty noble gesture for a guy to build a whole big channel around making videos every day on stuff like that, of teaching young men or boys things that a dad would teach them who don't have a dad. But I saw that he was doing it. It was literally stuff like learning how to tie a tie. Just little things, which I can respect that, I don't think about having good or average genetics. I just work, have discipline, try to be as smart as possible. All I can do, right? I think you get caught up with traps with obsessing over your genetics, good or bad, too. It can limit your results. And does it even matter? Again, people who aren't trying to win at professional bodybuilding, yeah, it's not really a factor. Because if you just want to have a really impressive physique or to deadlift my dad bod strength standard, you don't have to have anything but average genetics for any of those things. Ever had to pee while working? Not sure. You just go pee, dude. It's not that complicated, man. It is really not that complicated. We have these things called toilets. All right, you following me? Strong, lean, fit, look good. Those are my goals. I don't need to overcomplicate. Right, there you go. And I think dudes way overcomplicate. Way overcomplicate. See how these little shorts and reels do. They're okay on the Facebook, but I want to see how they do across all the platforms. All right. See them hit on all the platforms. I need some of them to blow up. Is lentil soup a good meal on its own, or I don't know? Yeah, you need some animal protein, dude. Why would you need some animal protein at probably every meal, man? Come on now. We trying to make gains or not, bro, Skillet? What are you doing? Yeah. That's why you're my go-to coach. You can speak to a wide range of people with different goals. There we go, man. How much do you weigh right now, Matt? What are your lifts? That's a good question. I know Matt said he got down. He was dieting for a while. He was under 10%, I think. He said he got down to. Works pretty hard at it. Right? Yeah, I mean, I have clients with different goals. I mean, I have clients. I'm getting clients who compete in a lot of different stuff now, especially now that I'm doing more of my dad bod coaching. Like I have dudes who compete in some of these rarer sports like sprint kayaking, and it's like interesting, you know. Seriously, it's cool. They're literally going to nationals this year in sprint kayaking, and so I'm doing their strength coaching. You know. Coach, do you have any bad experience squatting with lighter weights the day before heavy deadlifts? Not really, but that's where I've gotten to where I only train 3 days a week. Now, it just makes life easier. Then I can be recovered session to session. But yeah, it could create fatigue that interferes, especially the day before. You know, absolutely. Thoughts on Mister? I don't know what that is. My connection is unstable. I don't. I don't know what any of that means, man. Mister Organic. Because if I paid a 25K salary for 6 months, would you join Renaissance periodization team? Probably not. Like, honestly, that might sound like a lot of money, but it's really not. Like, I couldn't live comfortably on 50,000 a year. There's no way. That's no. It would take too much of my time for that, and away from my other stuff, and it would sell out my. I mean, dude, if I'm gonna sell out, it's not gonna be for no $50,000, bro. You know, let's be fair. If we're gonna sell out, it needs to be more money than I've ever made in my life doing my own thing to even be on the table. You know, and the last time I only made 50K in a year has been like a decade. So that's just no, absolutely not. You know, and why would they hire me anyways? I'm not even compatible with their team. You know, like he needs it. If he made an offer like a minimum, before I would even consider it, like it even be an option on the table to even enter the discussion. Um, to sell out like that, like I'm just blocking him if he doesn't open with 300,000 a year. Like that's just no. We're not even having the conversation and negotiating if he's not even opening with that low ball. Coach, what are your New Year's resolutions? It's whatever I say in the vlogs. I just have short term goals. Thoughts on Ben? I don't know who any of that is. Diesel Viper says something ain't right about Dr. Mike, right? Yeah, Mike's got his set of issues. Didn't he come out as gay? Someone was telling me he openly admitted finally to being gay. I don't know. I need to look that up before I repeat it. Why do you keep asking me about all these people talking? I don't know who any of these people are, bro. Sorry, man. But yeah, I'm gonna be getting way more political coming up. I'm gonna be ultra conservative in public, just straight up. Mike had to come out because it was an exit strategy, like Kevin Spacey. Gotcha. You know. All right, we need to get your perverted butt out of here, man. All right. Hope the additional politics won't mean cutting down on fitness. I mean, you're going to get the same fitness content no matter what, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna get super political, but it's more Facebook, way more Facebook than it is YouTube. But I'm gonna get there, you know. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in, and that's the thing, man. We're in a world now where there's a big sweep. We're in a lot of potential conflicts. I don't want there to be any ambiguity as to which side I'm on. You know, if that makes sense. Because if there is, if things go really bad in the U.S. with any sort of major shift that could turn into conflicts, I don't want there to be any confusion as to what position I'm on. I don't want to be seen as a traitor or a turncoat from the side I'm going to side with. I'm at this point I'm siding straight conservative. Um, you know, because we're at the point where the way the left has gone, the chances of an actual revolution, right? We're at that point of risk at this far with how the left has pushed stuff. If that happens, I don't want there to be any doubt as to where my loyalties lay. Yes, Meta is allowing us to speak about more spicy topics. Because here's the thing. Do you think Zuck cares at all about left-wing politics? Or do you think he cared about making billions of dollars? He didn't care. It's just that the woke thing seemed to be profitable at the time. He's opened up all sorts of stuff. They're allowing firearm stuff now. They've removed even official policies, even for monetization of spicy topics, within certain reasons. And it's because of the political shift in the country and who his follower base is. It was a smart financial move for Zuck. If Coach had given a chance, I could care less about the Nobel. I testify about it. I don't even care. I don't care about fitness content creators anymore. Let's talk about world leaders. Let's talk about politics. Let's talk about things that matter. Does the online fitness world and a few charlatans really affect the world? No. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Let's get the big topics. As my dad used to say, lovingly say in business, because my dad was in upper management, right? He always said, I heard him say at a big corporate meeting once there, he's like, if you're going to suck dicks, you might as well suck big ones. So if we're going to talk about topics, let's talk about people who matter, topics that matter. I don't care about these fitness people anymore. Who is in the UK Prime Minister? You live in the UK? I don't care. This is a chance for. I don't care about that either, man. Look, they're all dying off anyways. Like Frenchie's gone. These other people are nobodies. 2 of them have followings, and their little girlfriend followers will eventually realize the scam, and they're going to be too hurt. There's just too much going on. I don't really care. Yeah, I really don't care. We lost thousands. I lost way more because of bigger things going on than that. Now we're righting the ship. And by righting the ship, it means I don't get involved in these nonsense things that are not going to really grow what I'm doing. They're not important enough. All right, guys, I think it's about time to wind this down, though. Let me give you guys a bicep shot before we go. Oh. Mount Bicep, yes. Drop the Facebook.